Thank you, Michiel, for the kind introduction. Yes, I moved to Norway 10 years ago, but I'm still the third Dutch here in this session. I will talk a little bit about the cost action suburban. I'm the deputy chair with Diarmad function as a chair in this action. And some of the slides you will recognize already from Diarmad in his introduction, but I will be able to elaborate a little bit more on this. Why suburban? Well, this is a picture of Oslo center, where there's big constructions going on. And you see here there is a road being built on piles, because the bedrock is about, up to 80 meters below the surface. And the roads need to be stable. There's a lot of clay and organic material in the in the underground. And if they don't put it on piles, the road will just sink. So that's a challenge. And there are a lot of projects going on there. What we see now, this is a picture of this is PS INSAR. It is satellite radar data. These are brand new, presented last week, showing settlement rates in this area where this building is going on. Red indicating up to 30 millimeters per year subsidence, and blue stable, relative movement. And we'll see that in the center of Oslo, around the central station, we see a lot of settling. That's not new. We knew that because there has been infilling over many years. But there is also, you see these new buildings, the opera, you see there, the white building is quite stable because they are on piles. The rest is sinking. So we see here with this technology that things are happening below the surface. And new technologies now become available to see even more and earlier than we actually recognize in the field that things are happening in the subsurface. This presentation got some attention in the media. Actually, the Norway capital subsidence worse than Venice was already in 2011, but it has become more detailed today. So this is not something unique for Oslo. It's just an example. And Oslo is trying to deal to what should we do here, because so much is happening, and we should learn about this and how can we avoid damage in the future. But many cities in the world are sinking, and for various reasons. One of the big reasons, of course, extraction of groundwater in many developing cities. Sinkholes. This one I liked very much, but there are many of them across the world. And this is New Orleans. People get creative to grapple with settling and flooding issues. Those are problems. Those are hazards, geoscientific hazards. But what about the resources? We heard already today a little bit more about that. This is again Oslo. All these blue spots, those are energy wells drilled in the subsurface for shallow geothermal heating. Wells of about up to 200 meters depth. And most of them are not vertically down. They have some kind of, they go a little bit in another angle. But nobody knows exactly. There's no application scheme in Norway. If you want to drill an energy well, you can just do it. The only application there is that you have to report it once it's built to the survey. We have a database. But since there is no application, if we don't know about it, it's very difficult to make sure if this is a complete picture. Probably there is this is maybe about half of 2/3 or something. That's what really is there. And it's really increasing. At the same time, Oslo is planning a lot of tunnels that are going there where all these energy wells are as well. So there is a conflict here. And what about, this is the same picture of this Bjørvika, the center of Oslo. What about archaeology? This is a very nice picture showing the new development on top and the medieval archaeological layers below. Is this sustainable use of the subsurface? So conflicting demands, many different types. These were just a few examples. And we need to try to look at this as in a holistic way and to see if we can make more use of them in an efficient way and without all the conflicts, such as also Ignace already emphasized. So the cost action is really about providing cities, end users with knowledge and tools to maximize economic, social, and environmental benefits of the subsurface. Groundwater resources, energy, minerals, space, not in least the carrier for subsurface systems. Make people recognize and manage conflicting demands, and safeguard the ecosystem that the subsurface provides, and which cities depend on. And of course, geoscience-related cities, ultimately to make a difference to our cities. So the key aspiration of the cost action suburban is to transform the relationship between the experts providing subsurface knowledge and those who make use of it and they have most benefit of it: urban decision makers, planners, practitioners, and the wider research community. This is a picture of one of our meetings in Hamburg, where we, for the first time actually, that was here, that we had a good selection of urban planners in the room, which gave a whole new dynamic to our discussions. It was very, very useful, and I learned a lot. Diarmad showed this staircase of knowledge evolvement and use of 3D models. Now I removed from this presentation, I removed all 3D pictures of 3D models on purpose, because I think this cost action is about transforming relationships. It is about helping city partners to grow in their understanding of their knowledge and the awareness of the subsurface on every level of this stair. Of course, there is difference from place to place. Some are somewhere in the upper two upper two steps, but others are still working very hard. I think most are working very hard with grappling on the capturing of the data, like Helen also illustrated very well. A very important first step. Together, as a collective group in this cost action, we will be able to help each other up on these stairs. That is the goal and the purpose of this action. Of course, in the end, to really have more impact to decision makers. So we're working together on this, trying to pull each other up. So that's a nice analogy. So what are we doing? Main objectives: coordinate world-leading cross-disciplinary research on the subsurface, share techniques, methodologies, knowledge, inform and empower, disseminate decision makers, and provide them with the tools they need to make good decisions, and broaden relevance and impact by making subsurface knowledge complementary and interoperable with above-surface 3D city modeling. Then we are in the upper part of the stairs and really making a difference. So how do we do it? We have established 4 working groups. Working group 1, led by Michiel van der Meulen, is producing and already quite far ahead in establishing a state-of-the-art in subsurface knowledge in selected cities. So we selected 10 cities, and there will probably be some more as well, and asked them to write up their current state of using knowledge of the subsurface. This appears to be, first we thought we make one big report, and it appears now that these cities provided very extensive, very useful reports individually for this working group. So these will be individual deliverables together with a synthesis in a time that is taking the lessons from all these individual reports. Very interesting to see this enthusiastic development, particularly because these reports are being produced by a combination of geoscientists and people working in cities. Like geology is written by the geologist and planning is written by a planner in the same report. Workgroup 2 will develop address the gaps and develop a toolbox of guidance. It's more process-oriented on different topics within cities, like groundwater management issues, or 3-4D modeling improvement, linkage of models with the above surface, knowledge deliverable, these kind of issues. Data management, important one. Workgroup 3 is not yet officially started, but will be led by a colleague from Rotterdam, Ignace, and will trial, refine, and roll out the toolbox, so including training to make the decision makers and the people in the cities use the toolbox. And of course, there is a group of Workgroup 4 we have, which is dealing with dissemination and training, but actually trying to develop virtuous circles involving practitioners, city partners, geological survey organizations, or that could be universities as well, dependent on how this is organized in different countries. And we actually chose to divide the activities in Workgroup 4 to the early stage researchers, because they are very keen on taking in use new technologies and new creative ways of thinking. How can we effectively communicate our results? So Helen already showed us some of these virtual circuits, and they are very complex, and you can see more of them on your poster in the hall, and you should certainly do this. I try to simplify it a little bit here, just to illustrate that if we can deliver data on subsurface knowledge and make it to be used in planning, then ground investigations will be more focused, time and money is saved, which will then result into benefits recognized by the users, and actually create, oh, this is very useful, here is more, and now we can easily take more data, becomes available, which again gives better models, better understanding, and then we are around. There are some more details in there, but I have no time to go into there. What is very essential for this cost action is the structure, and Diarmad already showed it. We are addressing stakeholders, but stakeholders really are partners. They are they who actually drive the action. They have to tell what they need in their development. So in this picture we see that this is from the very start, but it shows the principal cities in the center, supported by geological survey organizations and the wider research community with specialized knowledge. It links cities and organizations and not only individuals, which is different from other cost actions in Europe. So just to show a little bit about how the action has evolved since its inception in April last year. We started with about 11, grew to 16 in October, 18 in February this year, and now we are about 23 countries in about a year. So we have grown considerably, and we are still growing. We have some countries, mega cities, from further afield who are interested and have committed their to the action. But also very important city partners. The ones in white were originally already in the start very soon, and the other cities now also have become very active and interested in our action. But we still would like to have more cities, a good representation across Europe and further afield. So what do we expect the outcomes will be? Well, of course, our key aspiration was to transform the relationship. So we wish to have a really significant progress there, to raise awareness about the urban subsurface and their role in the sustainability of urban development. And then we wish to have a Europe-wide and rollout of good practice guidance, the toolbox, maybe a basis for future standards to develop a critical mass of users trained in using the subsurface and its improved understanding. So this is just a list. I won't read them all, but you can read them yourselves. Scientific impact, we like to improve the use and the methodology of 3D, 4D modeling, which will be further discussed today. Economically, we like to improve data and knowledge access, sharing and reuse of data, also already presented by Helen and also by the other speakers. And of course, the social impact, raised awareness is a very important one. Improved stewardship of the subsurface resources. So what we have a plan, 4 work groups, and we have a flow with different tasks, as mentioned before, with some key milestones where we have a website, which I will show in just a minute, in the last slide. Work Group 1 has produced a state-of-the-art report. Actually, there will be several state-of-the-art reports from key cities that can be national or European exemplars of good practice. Work Group 2 will produce an evaluation report and possibly, and we don't actually know yet, what the results exactly will be. Maybe an integrated model of, well, a selection of cities or one integrated model. We don't know yet. Toolbox and guidance. So, if you would like to have more, would like to know more, this is our website, suburban.eu. There's some information there. Of course, please contact either Diarmad, me, or someone else who is also mentioned here on the website for more information. Thank you very much.
Questions? Yes.
How easy is it for other cities to join in?
Cities is it depends from country to country. Usually, if the country already is in our cost action registered through the national representatives, which is then a city could relatively easily be added to this just by sending an email actually to the chair and express the interest. What we experience is it is often difficult to get engaged with cities because they are busy with other things. So there is a challenge there, but we are very open and welcoming to cities to join. So the formal procedure is very easy.
Last question, perhaps.
You mentioned about reducing conflict in terms of subsurface. Do you think that the city partners, the planners, see themselves as having that overall responsibility to manage that conflict, or do they see geological surveys as people that can have that kind of management?
Well, maybe that should be a question directed to the cities themselves, but I can't answer on behalf of the cities. But what we notice is that in these groups where we have different cities together, that they are very much learning and talking to each other, which is a success in itself of the action, providing a network of cities and surveys and making them talking to each other. And how do you deal with this issue of conflict in the mountain? How do we? And maybe we can learn from each other and grow together.
Thank you very much.
Okay.